You ever see people make a video about the video that you're about to make, and then when it finally comes time for you to make that video as you use the focus, you just kind of don't know what to do because you've never made a video about yourself like that, about that? That is this video. I don't know how I'm supposed to start this video. Please help me. Now, I know the title of this video does seem a tad bit over dramatic, especially for me, right? Like I just wouldn't really do something like that. However, it does serve the purpose of what's going to be happening to me within the next couple of weeks. You see, there's been something in the background that's been brewing for quite a long time, and it's just been having me waiting and waiting and waiting, and finally came to its final form and has materialized where I can finally take advantage of this opportunity for the future. For those of you that know, the room aesthetic has been a part of my channel since the beginning. I mean, since I was in my small little area that was a cubicle within a living room where I slept on the floor, and then in 2019 I moved here, which now being here for 4.5 years later, plenty of things have happened where COVID, the development of my channel, being able to really engage in my own content and be happy with the type of videos I want to make, and just have a regular ass fucking living space where I can develop as a person. However, my time in this very room has come to an end. This will be the last video you see this background, this room in its entirety in any of my videos going forward, because I am moving.
Welcome to the revolution. Hey, come on, come on!
Oh man, Jesus Christ. To be quite upfront, since the age of 18, I have found myself bouncing from one place to another throughout my entire lifetime. And considering all the moves I have done in the past, nothing compares to the future endeavor or what I'm about to commit to now, because I'm gonna move out of the state of California. If you're wondering why I went in vlog mode, it's because I kind of forgot to mention that while I was sitting down. Kind of vital to this whole video, huh? This is something I never thought of doing my entire life. Leaving my family, my friends, memories, experiences inside and outside of this room for something that is gonna be quite anxiety-inducing, but also has a high level of excitement because, new surroundings, new experiences, new people, and just kind of a change-up. There's no real financial incentive. There's no, I'm trying to find myself spiritually. No, none of that bullshit. Like, I just want to go try something new and just change things up for a little bit, even if it's like for a short or a long amount of time. Now, with the obvious course of me moving, this could have easily been a moving vlog video of me just putting boxes within boxes, which is where I decided to take advantage of a Ask Me Anything. I posted it on my Discord, my YouTube community tab, and my Instagram for you guys to ask me questions that you've been curious about for quite a while, which there's been one in particular question that has been like a revolving door since the inception of this channel, which I'm going to answer in this video. So I guess now we're at the part of the video that I've been actively trying to avoid since I learned that I was moving. And that's moving, because I don't feel like putting any of this away. I have to figure out how I'm going to put all this away, my camera equipment, my miscellaneous things, the corner over here, the bed, my motorcycle that I've only owned for like 3 months since February. Yeah, I'll hold that. All the while answering your questions throughout the duration of the video, and just to give you guys some insight on myself, the channel, or whatever it is you decide to ask. Now, I don't know exactly where this video is going to start, but I do have an idea. And I think for me in general, would be a first. Gotta get the shot, gotta get the shot, gotta get the shot. Hurry up, my camera's over there, you son of a... Gotta get the shot, gotta get the shot, gotta get the shot. Gotta get a shot, let's go! What'd I do to get a fucking shot? Sorry, camera, you gotta get in there quick stops. We're kinda in the middle of the fucking street. Our first question comes from Juan Abdul Hadi. Who you made in Street Fighter 6? And why is it Cammy? I don't know, dude. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just like overstimulation from Street Fighter 6 content, but I just have not been interested to play. I haven't found that one thing like to really drive me to play the game, To be fair, like Strive and Tekken both had like a very long burn-in process for me. I didn't really get into Tekken until I learned Korean backdashing, and when it came to Strive, I didn't really care for it until I started understanding the roaming cancel system. I think once I find my groove with the game, I think that's when I'll finally be able to really give it a shot. I don't even know if Cammy's gonna be my main character. The way dive kicks play out in Street Fighter 6 is something I don't really like. I like how like Cammy was in Street Fighter 4 and how Elise is in Tekken 7. It's like even TKs with Milia. They don't feel the same. They feel really floaty. So other characters I do want to play is like Jamie, KP, or JP, whatever Zato looking ass, and then probably Jury. Maybe Jury will be my dive kick girl this time around, but yeah, that's pretty much my thoughts on like the whole Street Fighter 6 things, at least for now. Like, I love Cammy, right? But she ain't got shit on these air tracks, air flares, or windmills. I'm just saying. I mean, look at this clean ass Indian step, boy. Oh no! Wait, what do you mean roll close ahead? Wait, hold up. Come on, dog. I had a whole plan for this. Let me in. Let me in! Acro from Discord asked, what game am I looking forward to the most? Now, the easy answer is Tekken 8, right? Tekken 8 is the game that Tekken 7 is the game you guys know I've had the most experience with. I'm really curious to see how the characters are going to play, and especially with this whole, like, the heat systems. You know, in Tekken 7, the only privileged characters that have a meter system were the 2D characters, aka me. But now it's going to be a universal meter system, so you got to worry about how everybody's going to be able to utilize that, and compared to, like, a couple of key characters, right? It's going to be cool to see how this is going to play out throughout Tekken 8's lifespan, because before you just had attack, defense, and mobility, or like Korean backdash and side step canceling, you know, outside the footsies and such, right? But now you're going to have a layer on top of that, which is meter management, where you're going to use the heat system, when not to use it, how much to use it, should you burn it completely, when is your opponent going to use it, how is it for every character? So it's just going to be like an onion of Tekken 8, man. It's going to be a layer after layer after layer when it comes to gameplay. So I'm really excited to see how it's going to turn out. If Elisa's not going to be in it, I'm not going to be too heartbroken about it. You know, I'm down to play like Nina or Lars or even Brian maybe this time around. So we'll see. Since I may or may not go on the road I would like to do, I'm curious to see what AI would do with this scenario. And this is what it shows. So I don't know what I'm looking at. You guys are looking at it first before I do. So yeah, this, okay. All right. This is okay. Oh God, this is too much. This is too much. Fucking trees broken all the way down here. That's crazy. For those of you that are curious, I got armor here and armor there. And this one's from Isaiah Carter. What was the best experience you had related to your YouTube community and FGC? The one that comes to mind, at least easily, like the one I could pull like right out the top of my head, was when I was filming at EVO 2022 and I was getting B-roll of the fight stick museum. By the time I got there, a lot of the fight sticks were actually put away, and the ones that are in the fancy enclosures being shown off. I saw somebody off to the right and I asked them, hey, is it cool if I shoot you guys' fight sticks, even if they're just on the floor or like off to the side, like somehow can I get footage of them? He was staring at me like really curious and was like, I know you. And I'm sitting there like, no, you don't. You don't know me. You don't know me! And we got to talking, and I don't remember your name off the top of my head, but I know you go by Tom's Arcade or Tommy's Arcade on Instagram. I found out he runs an arcade on the East Coast. And he mentioned like some kids or somebody, I don't remember who exactly they were, and got discouraged or got like beat up or bodied in some fighting game, and they're kind of salty about it. And he, no joke, brought up my saying at the end of my big video, which was, don't give up on fighting games because fighting games will give up on you. He didn't need any reference. He didn't need to look at his phone. He didn't need to pull the video up. He just remembered it right on the spot and was able to recite it back to me. And I found that like really interesting because this whole experience was super organic and I really like wasn't expecting it. I say things not really expecting people to use it in the real world, but to see it, the example right in front of me really caught me off guard. As I was shooting for the rest of the day, somebody he was talking to, he was like, yeah, that's Alex Nostalgix, like shooting and making footage and stuff, and he's gonna do a video. So it was pretty cool to see that happen. See, that's what I was saying about the fucking rear end fucking kicking out. You know what, guys? I'm just gonna cut it here. There's somebody up ahead from the car that I'm in, that's in front of me right now, and I've hit traffic so many times. I think I'm kind of just asking for it, so I'm just gonna head back home and do whatever it is I need to do. So I'll see you guys then back at the house. That was a thing that really almost fucking happened. Alright, this is a significant time jump at this point because it's only about a week left before I fly out. The stuff that typically are in my Alex drawers and in my wardrobe are now stuffed away in my boxes to be sent out to where I'm going to be moving to, and then my anti-static bags came in from my PC parts to go in. I'm not going to be keeping the case, the GPU, motherboard, CPU, RAM, and pretty much whatever I can fit into this Pelican case here is going to be coming along with me on the flight, so it could be a carry-on, because along with my camera equipment, they're the most expensive, large financial investments and greatest contributors to the reason I'm moving in the first place. My camera equipment is just going to go in here, pretty much my camera bag, and shove whatever I can, along with another Pelican case that looks like this, so I can keep my most valuable items at my side at all times, because I can lose anything, but I cannot lose those. You know, like, as I'm putting stuff away more and more, man, like, I've done a lot of growth here. I've been here for 5 years. This is the longest I've ever stayed in one place. The bed behind me is like the first bed I've ever owned in my adult life. Like, it's mine. It's just crazy to me thinking about, like, I'm going to be doing this experience all over again, you know, starting from a brand new canvas and painting all over it to making my own again. And I just can't even process that I'm even doing this at the age of 33. There might be hints of where I might be moving to or not be moving to, but you know, who knows? Another thing I didn't really think would hit me as hard is like thinking about what should come with me and what should not come with me. My ultra wide monitor right here was like the monitor I got to tell me that like I made it in terms of like my setup and like how I got everything pretty much exactly how I wanted. As you can tell, like, I don't really have the words to even put together and how I'm feeling, but it's gonna be such a change up and it's something I'm really looking forward to. Dwayne Wallace asks, you mentioned in your latest video that you would be covering content branching from fighting games. I would love to watch more videos with your style and commentary. Would we see regular uploads in the future if this were to happen? Now, the thing is, I'm not really sure what you mean by regular uploads. I'm assuming you just mean uploading more frequently than I currently do. And when it comes to like my upload schedule, I'm not like a full-time YouTuber. You know, YouTube's not the thing that pays the bills and makes sure like I eat and such. With that said, I guess the thought of needing to post more often never really crossed my mind. When it comes to my personal videos, I like maintaining the feeling of the want to release a video rather than the need to release a video. I'm able to throw these wild ideas, concepts, narratives, etc. in a video and at the same time challenge myself to deliver in the exact way I see fit. Inevitably, trying to make something off the beaten path will have some type of trial and error, you know, and in particular some attempts will be a huge failure or just completely miss the mark. But in most cases, I'm able to pull positive bits from that endeavor, throw them back in one of my projects, or change a perspective and plug them into a whole new idea. Matter of fact, that's how that Apex footsie analogy came into play, because I hated my original explanation of it and visually, but I was playing Apex at the time, so I decided to take pieces from that and plug it into my Apex experience, which I was killing at the time, and somehow got that analogy out of it while giving people without a fighting game background a common place of understanding. Problem? I was working on that video for like 8 months, and that idea didn't finally solidify itself until an hour or two before I uploaded the video. I know I didn't really answer your question there, but I wouldn't be like against the idea of uploading a little bit more often. I can say I'm not gonna be like waiting another year until I upload a video, so I doubt that's gonna happen, but hopefully this gives you an idea at least why I do the videos the way I do. So I'll just cop out and say maybe, but probably not, especially after the shit that's gonna happen after I move. All right, now that that final question is now done, I can finally start getting the last few things ready for me to move. Yeah, obviously I'm gonna show the last few process of me getting rid of the things that still exist in this room and go from there, but it's time for this era to end and a new one to begin. So I guess without further ado, it's time for this little section of me getting out of this room officially. So I'll see you guys on the flip side.
Your next location is Canada.
You really thought I was moving to Canada, huh? Couldn't be any more wrong.
Alex Nostalgix' next location is Japan. I knew that groove was in your heart.
Now, before I even get into the whole situation of me moving and living here in Osaka, I figured I answered two questions that I've been getting pretty consistently and has gotten them since the inception of this channel. The questions are, how did I get into photography, videography, my motivations, inspirations, all that, pretty much everything that involves me making videos on YouTube or just videos in general. Now, the two questions I get are going to be relevant to why I'm even moving here and like pretty much put it all together, so let me cook. It'll make sense in a second. It's going to start with something that sounds irrelevant in the beginning, but is not as irrelevant as you think it is, and that's how did I get into motorsports? Now, motorsports I wouldn't have got into if it wasn't for my dad. To be very clear, he did not give a shit about motorsports at all. But once upon a time, we went to a flea market and we grabbed this video cassette. It had Sprint Cup racing, NASCAR, Super GT, ATV, Supercross, drag racing, like everything you could think of and more. But there was one that captivated me pretty much up until, you know, now. That was Group B rally racing, pretty much the most dangerous motorsport known to man outside of like F1. As a kid, you know, like seeing a car going like 80, 90 miles an hour sideways and kicking up rocks and shit and, you know, making the sound of my fucking people, how could I not love it? Now, the problem was I couldn't really do that in San Francisco because it wasn't exactly available. You know, it's the concrete jungle. So I had to do it virtually, which Gran Turismo 3 would be my gateway drug. I wouldn't say shortly after, but eventually after Gran Turismo 3, I got into drifting. And I got into drifting by chance. I went to like a Suncoast, for those of you who know what that is, found one of the JDM option videos. But what's funny is I replaced one of the cheapest price tags you could find in the store, which is like $5 or $10. And I would put it on the DVD, bring it to the front, and pay $5 or $10 for a DVD that was really like $30. Jail. From there, I would go to, you know, offline event, finally Formula D and Sonoma Raceway. And yeah, pretty much would just get full-fledged fall into drifting. So what the fuck does how I got into motorsports have to do how I got into video? Or the question that I'm trying to answer now, which is, did I go to school for photography or videography? Which is a big fat no in a short answer. The way I started out was actually going to my first grassroots drift event because one of my friends somehow forgot like a camera in the back of the car for like a month before we went to the event, and the way to get in for free was for me to grab the camera and pretend I was media. And then it was just like a whole bunch of coincidences happened. Like the people running the event was actually a blog I followed, and I would be like, hey, would it be cool if I shoot the event? They're like, yeah, okay, don't die. And I went through a lot of like trial and error trying to figure out my own style, and finding out like if photography was really for me. I ended up finding out I like videography more because when it comes to photography, there's an emphasis of telling a story through one frame. It requires a lot of thinking, a lot of thought when it comes to every photo you take, especially like if you're using film, because once you take that picture, that's it, right? But I like having the flexibility of having multiple frames or, you know, an entire video to direct a narration or have a certain story or have a certain message or just go along with the beat of a song. Like all that kind of stuff ended up being everything that drove me to stay doing videography. I still like doing photography every once in a while and I'll dabble, but it's not my primary focus because videography I just find to be funner. After shooting this controlled chaos of a sport for many years in many different ways, it would lead me to the opportunity to shoot for Thrash Racing, a drifting focused parts distributor and YouTube channel that I've been helping for a little while now, and is the same friend who needed help last year. However, this time around is for a bit longer time. If you want a clear idea of what I'm doing there, check out this YouTube short explaining it all, and shout out to you absolute legends who discovered me on both channels without me directly having to say so, and the other handful of you that I've met at Final Bout 6 in Wisconsin. I never in a million years would think my hobbies would cross over in such a way, let alone at like one of the biggest grassroots ran drift events in the USA. So let's get the boring part of the apartment tour over with, shall we? So we have the front door, it opens. Shoes, I put on. Bathroom directly behind me and next to the door. Now the bathroom isn't too big, but I always feel like America's sizes are always hella overcompensating. Of course, we have the bidet, so you know, clean booty hole gang. And as you can see, there's no shower or bath because there's a shower room right here in the middle of the hallway. Turn on directly across from the kitchen thing area. It's funny because you could pretty much come out of here butt-ass naked and either start or finish making dinner. I don't know which one it is. And I'm not saying that I'm thinking about doing that, but I'm saying I may have already done that.
Wow, you go to horny jail.
So now we're in the main space. As you guys can see, my developed and changed desk setup here behind me, which I'll get into in a second. And then we have my stereotypical YouTuber IKEA Calyx storage area. and then we have where I sleep. Now, if you're wondering why I'm sleeping on the floor, at the moment, this may or may not be my permanent residence, so I didn't want to deal with dragging the fucking bed frame, you know, through the fucking hallway and fucking up the door frames. If I do end up staying here more permanent, of course, I'll probably just buy a regular bed, but my back has actually been forgiving me for the years of having a bed that may have been a bit too soft. I guess I will lightly talk about what's even in here. I have all my camera equipment here. I usually keep like what I use most frequently on this one. Something that I don't really use on this channel that much, but you guys have seen it without seeing it, which is my gimbal. This is a Ronin RS2, and for those of you who are curious about my actual camera setup, I shoot on a Sony a7C, and I have only a couple lenses. This is my 24mm G Master. This is actually my favorite focal length. It's not too wide and doesn't distort that much, but we are reunited with my 18-inch AFS. One of my favorite layouts, actually, the Sega 2P Extended, is one I've been replicating ever since it left my hands. My spotter unfortunately did not come with me because due to its plexi nature, I didn't want to risk like damaging it, and I wanted to bring it back whenever I can get it here in a safer condition. Still on the Nostalgix V5, I haven't felt the need to change. And then we have my Mad Catz Versus. This is actually a custom panel. This is a panel that I made on Fusion 360 and then sent over to Sencut Sen. The joystick here, as you guys can tell, quite the distance from the buttons. One thing that you guys have probably noticed without me saying anything, let me sit down because I'm gonna talk to you guys for a second here. Wait, let me get comfy. Now, oh Jesus! Anyway, as you guys can tell with the last couple of videos, with this video and the last two videos I've posted, review content hasn't exactly been the focus of the channel for a little while now. Even if you look at my Spada video, even that video I wouldn't really consider a direct review. And I feel like the reason for that is because I haven't moved away from my Nostalgix V5 setup since I got reunited with it about 3 years ago. And the other situation I found myself in is I was trying so many things at once. When I would find myself making a mistake or an execution error, I would end up questioning myself, is it the peripheral or is it the person? You guys know, man, once you even start that downward spiral, it just is an endless pit. I just really wasn't enjoying playing fighting games. Actually, I wasn't enjoying playing anything for a while because I was just so frustrated. Another thing that happened, which I forgot to mention, even though I just got up from recording that like 2 hours ago, I started to feel like I was being pigeonholed into one type of content. And I think that goes for the simple fact that there's not that much to go into arcade stick parts. I mean, I did to a certain extent, and you know, I went into detail with my videos that I did in the past, but for me, as I was making each video, especially when it came to levers, the differences were so minute that it kind of started to feel like I was starting to make the same video over and over and over again. That's pretty much how like Don't Give Up on Fighting Game started, because like I kind of just wanted to take a break from the whole review thing and just do something different, and that style of content was the type of content I wanted to start this channel with. But I kind of ended up documenting my like finding out my preferences in arcade sticks, and then I decided to like keep this stuff. It really wasn't for me, but I figured it would be good for people to know that it's out there. Then they could find their own preference within my own video, right? I'm not gonna say that reviews aren't gonna be a part of the channel. Matter of fact, somebody just sent me a hitbox.
You mean a Leverless controller, Alex? To
do a review on, but the way I'm going to approach it is going to be very different from the way I used to approach reviews. But I would say, at least as of right now, it's not my focus. So I can say the answers to this question and this question is probably maybe and no. Anyway, these are one of those things that I know I'm not going to be able to put from my brain into the camera in an easy manner. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to open up a live stream once I get situated here. And you guys can ask me whatever questions about this topic, or maybe just a question that's not featured in the video. Since we're already on the topic of the fight sticks, I figured why not answer the question from Trap Lord. Have you ever thought about playing on a leverless controller? And if so, would you? I have thought about playing on a leverless controller. What's funny is I actually built one at one point in time. Unfortunately, I would also find out that my wrist is among the many, or the few, I guess depending on who you ask, have their wrist blow up during their play sessions with a leverless controller. However, at the time, my wrist was kinda already bothering me, and I don't think the unoptimized layout did me any favors. So I am willing to try it again. I don't think even if I like the hitbox all that much or find myself even more optimized, when it comes to my casual play and when I'm just trying to enjoy fighting games, I will more than likely always go to the lever controller because I like the physicality of it all. But I guess only time will tell, right? Fuck! Fuck! Okay. Alright, we're getting somewhere. Don't you fucking whiff it. God damn it.
NYFO ask, what's your favorite fighting style?
Good stuff. The last one really hit the spot.
Now, as much as I'd love to gush about my setup, I don't really think it's necessary. I'm gonna go over like the key parts about my new changes to my new desk setup, and then we're just gonna go forward from there. Now, as you guys saw from earlier in the video, my rig had changed even before I had moved, but what I'm rocking now is a Ryzen 7950X and an MSI Gaming Trio RTX 4090. The reason why I went with this budget-friendly, simple setup, I just pissed off my entire Discord. I just wanted to ball out for once, alright? Leave me alone. The shit makes my dookie twinkle. With my growing interest in like making music, Fusion 360, and Unreal Engine, I just wanted to remove any hardware limitations for the time being. Hopefully I won't have to upgrade until like 2045, you know, to another basic, budget-friendly... Oh, I can hear the pitchfork.
That might have been over the line, JC.
I also have moved away from my ultra-wide setup, going to 2560 by 1440 170Hz Asus VG27QL1A. Simply put, I just wanted to see how life was like without my ultra-wide monitor, and thanks to the resolution, I have a bit more vertical space to play with, which I had always felt limited before with the ultra-wide. Even though, at least at this point, it's been about 3 months without my ultra-wide monitor, I do miss it at times, so I think only time will tell to see if an ultra-wide will be added to my setup once again, but for now, this is fine. And then the biggest change is my sit-stand desk from IKEA. I don't remember the name off the top of my head, but I will list it on the screen. I'm one of those people who, like, once they get uncomfortable sitting down for a long period of time, I would get up and start pacing around my room for a bit. So this setup is pretty perfect for how I operate. The highest setting is perfect height for me standing up, and the lowest setting is perfect for my seating position for my noble chair. Outside of these obvious changes, nothing has really changed all that much from my setup. I still have the same SM7B setup, the same KBD75, same lightweight mouse, even though now I'm a self-proclaimed Evangelion poser. And I think that's all there is to say about my new living space here in Japan. Clearly, it's not as big as where I used to live in America, but I'm a very minimal person at the end of the day. I don't need an entire fucking mansion to be satisfied with. As long as I have the essentials, I'm happy. And like I said before, I am one of those people who, like, if I stay in one place for too long, I do get a bit antsy, so I end up walking outside, and now I have the added benefit of living in Osaka, so anytime I decide to walk any certain direction, I'm able to find a brand new experience or something I've never seen before. I do have 2 more questions I'm going to answer, but I actually don't want to answer them in this room. I actually want to take you guys out to one of my favorite places out here in Osaka. So get your little field trip slips signed. Make sure they're signed by your parents, not forged like I used to do, as I take you guys out to one of my favorite places. Now this is Umeda Sky Building. I've actually put this on my channel a couple of times now, but this is the first time I'm actually telling you what it is. It gives a great view of Osaka from the top floor because you're able to see the whole city, and then it has many windows throughout its many floors, so you're pretty much able to look out no matter where you are throughout the building. Then at night they turn on the black lights on the observatory floor for a bit of flair and fun. Now I don't know what it is about my timing lately, but there was just a lot of activity going on when I got here. There's like a meeting going on the bottom floor. There's a plethora of tours throughout the seating area, of course in the area that I wanted to shoot, and to add on top of it all the noises that come along with crowded spaces. So I decided to snag a souvenir, and then I decided to go back to the ground floor to answer the final 2 questions. Now, as much as I would have loved to shoot inside Umeda Sky Building, there's a lot of tours and a lot of activity going on inside, and there's something in my pocket still. Oh hey, look, it's the hitbox that I got sent.
It's called the Steel Box from Sagak Labs. Alex, you stupid son of...
Now, the last 2 questions I do want to answer are easily the hardest ones to answer at all. I've tried to answer this on screen, off screen, at home, and when I moved here. Easiest one is what are my motivations to make videos, and it kind of goes in line of the way I approach fighting games to a certain extent. I always like trying to do something that I originally think I can't do, and then taking bits and pieces of those mistakes and failures and making it into something that I'm really satisfied with, and something I'm proud, no, I wouldn't say proud of, but I guess proud of. I guess proud of is the only real word. I don't like saying it, but whatever. Although this isn't a direct motivation, but can serve as a strong motivator to put a video together, creating a video or scenes to a beat of a song can put me into a flow state like no other, and that's mainly thanks to my b-boy / breakdancer background. I was never big into power moves because I was just never able to do it in the way I wanted to, but I love syncing my movements with whatever song is playing at the time. This puts me in a flow state where, like, just like a top rock to a drum kick or imitating lyrics of a song or the classic freeze on a hi-hat or a break in a song, everything you do serves a purpose to your overall performance. Or putting it in more of a video editing scenario, every frame, action, or meme serves a purpose. Just a thought, I just thought it'd be cool to share. Which totally didn't delay this video because the middle part of the video I couldn't find the clips and stuff to sync with the song that I was using. Not at all. And the other question, I don't know exactly how it goes. It goes something like, what type of content can somebody watch if they're looking for inspiration for their own content? I hope I got that right. I think I'm just going off the top of my head with this one. What inspires people to be creative and do things is different for everybody, right? Really hard to answer something like that. My inspirations change all the time and my motivations change all the time. Yeah, I have some specific ones that I go back to pretty often and something I could pretty much go on anytime I feel like I don't have any motivation at all. So even though I said like what I said about my motivations, they do change. That moment where you finally figure out why these questions are so hard to answer. Now I'm just going to use myself as an example here in terms of inspirations and such, but I'm following and watching people outside of my own like creative endeavors. One of those people are one of my good friends, Lee Chutz, an artist out of Canada. See, I tied it in, Canada. You see now, I did it. Now I have not knit or not or did me a one-time good time draw. But the reason why I get this, but the reason why I watch my homies' content outside of hoping they succeed was just to see how they approach different techniques throughout their videos in ways that I never thought of. And you know what? It doesn't have to be all that goddamn complex. She does these really cool handwritten transitions, which is something I never thought of doing. She uses colors in a way that I never thought of doing. And she's really open about her creative struggles and accomplishments throughout her channel, which has inspired me to even answer these questions in the first place. Seeing people do things differently from me always makes me curious to try it. For example, Mosvin is a finger drummer. I buy MIDI. Try finger drumming. I can't do it good, but I do get to figure out how to use a DAW and make my own tracks for my own videos. You see, it doesn't take much for me to try and fail at something because throughout a large majority of my life, I had always been told I couldn't do this, I couldn't do that, or think of something more realistic. Yet, those people are nowhere to be found when I found some success and the one thing they try to deny me. I almost brought up some really old demons there for a second, and whenever I get passionate and talk about this kind of stuff, it kind of just comes out of me. So I'm gonna stop there, and I think I made my point. These are one of those questions that I don't think I'll ever have a fitting answer for that I'll feel satisfied with, but sometimes you just gotta move on and say fuck it. Always remember, like, everybody else goes through their own struggles, right? Everybody has like a creative drought every once in a while, and don't feel like you're alone whenever it comes to something like that. I get in droughts all the fucking time. Probably one of the reasons why my content on here has become so slow since I have moved away from reviews, because I'm trying to figure out which way I want to go with the channel. And you know, speaking of the channel, like, I'm gonna be trying out different styles of content. You know, like I mentioned before, how reviews are, you know, they're fun to make every once in a while, but they're not the only type of content I want to make throughout the channel's lifetime. And I know a lot of people are able to commit to that and just do that, but my brain will not allow me to do it. And it kind of sucks sometimes, but you know, that's what makes me a little more different and maybe a little more me, and I try to keep it that way. Osaka is going to be my home to be for the foreseeable future. I don't see anything changing anytime soon, but like I said, I'm not gonna pretend like I'll be able to be here my entire life. And you know, if that is a possibility, who knows? For me, I spent 33 years in San Francisco. Why not spend 33 years somewhere else? So I guess if you ever find yourself with an opportunity to try to do something new for the future, go ahead and do it. Or you can be a scrub like me, not know a lick of the fucking language, and dump yourself into a situation that you never were prepared for, and now you gotta do all the stupid. Peace out, guys. Until next time.
Welcome to the revolution. Hey, come on, come on!
Hey, Alex, weren't you working on something before the whole move thing was happening?
In the crucible of fierce competition, a tempest of violence surges through their very veins. Bound by a relentless pursuit of glory, they succumb to the dark allure of conflict. Who shall become Daredevil? Heaven or hell? Let's rock. Nope, they can wait.